It's May 12th, and I just picked some daylily greens, stinging nettle, and got some burdock root. Gonna try them out for supper. Also found myself a dark corner inside to dry some multiplier onion greens, stinging nettle, some dandelion, mullein, chives, yarrow, horsetail, curly dock, catnip. Should make some nice gifts for some cat. And I'll just toss these every once in a while. All in the dark, and room temperature is best, but cooler is fine as well, wherever you can. Just use some screening from an aquarium. That's all we have here, but you can be resourceful on it. Just gonna wash these greens up. I usually use some scissors to cut and harvest these because they're stingy. Sometimes people don't know what to wash, what kind of cleaner to use to wash their vegetables, but I use Shaklee's Basic H, which is not a detergent, and I'm just going to put just a little bit. Just swish them around. It doesn't make a lot of suds. Don't even really have to rinse them because it's it could be slug, moths, or spiders, but the Basic H actually can kill some of those bugs too. So put them out on a clean towel for a minute, and the water's still good. Looks like we got not too many bugs. It's usually pretty clean in the spring. But the Basic H doesn't kill them from poison, it kills them from soaking them to death. If it doesn't soak them to death, it'll knock them off anyway. So I just use a vegetable brush to brush these first year burdock root. This might be a second year, so we'll experiment, see how it is. And I'm gonna just slightly cook these. It's kind of like spinach, and you can leave it at that. These will cook a little more, and then I like to sometimes just fry it up in some butter after. Lightly fry it up in butter, just to give it a taste, and I'll try it out on the boys. I've been eating for about 2 weeks now. The daylily leaves, dandelion leaves, dandelion buds, curly dock leaves, sweet violet, some onion greens, and I've sprouted some alfalfa, made vinegar, apple cider vinegar and olive oil dressing, and some hummus that I've made. Delicious as a salad. Just put a little bit of water. Tuck it in, cover it up. Of course, we're in southern Ontario, and northern areas these things will come later. Started my tomatoes quite in March, and I've brought them outside to harden off quite early, being rather daring. I've already planted some of these, romaine lettuce and kale and cabbage in the garden already. And here I've just transplanted some of the opium poppies. They'll start perking up pretty soon. In this rack here, I can just cover them up. I don't have to cover any of these up really. I can plant all these. You can even plant these probably direct. Even it'll self-seed and come up the next year, but the tomatoes are tender, they need to be covered, and this makes it easy, this rack here. Some sweet violet. These cattails are almost ready to yank. Let me try this one. There we go. Mmm. Delicious. Here I've planted out the kale maybe a week ago from my seedlings that were closer together, of course, before. Radishes I planted as soon as the ground could be worked, and just recently put some green onions in this area. Planted the peas at the same time. They're coming up nice. Some romaine lettuce direct seeded. Opium poppy somewhere in here, and some kind of grain that I thought the birds could eat. Just an experiment. Spinach. Parsley. Can barely see them, but the carrots are coming up. And these are oyster plant, or what do you call it? Oh yeah, salsify. And I've just started to thin them out a little. Give them more room. Planted some cabbages out in a lot of manure. Some transplanted romaine lettuce starting to perk up after a whole lot of rain recently. I don't see my, oh, maybe this is the beets coming up. That could be the beets coming up, and also I planted some parsnips along here somewhere. Keep an eye open for them. And just as an experiment, I planted 2 rows of corn, and they haven't come up yet. Okay, they went in pretty early, so I like to push the envelope, see what happens. Rhubarb's usable already. And I'm just helping these strawberries along with some manure, clearing the weeds around them. Give them a good chance. Getting a little dark with the magnolias coming out. They're just beautiful. Bleeding heart. These can go in the compost pile along with your kitchen waste. Boys have been saving me up some good compost material. And you can also, if you got plenty of stinging nettle, you can, before it seeds, you can throw some of that in. Really helps with the compost. Put your compost somewhere where there's no grass that's going to start growing into it, either right in your garden or under some trees. I even save up my eggshells. I've saved up a lot since I've been here. I put some in the compost pile here, crush them up good, and but I'm bringing a lot of them back to my own garden at home when I go back in December. One element isn't burning, so back to the wood stove.
The little one? Oh. Or the bigger one? Bigger element?
Yeah, the bigger element doesn't work, so yeah. Just get this going. There are always alternatives. Sometimes when it's not hot enough still, whoops. Go direct. I'm pretty good. And this is looking ready. So I'm going to drain it, put this lid back on, Put some butter because we don't want to burn the butter. And see what we got. Do that a little more gracefully. There's this much water left, not much. Great to drink. I do like my butter. So, warm it up a bit again. Melt it down a bit. Almost kind of a stir-fry situation. Actually, the butter's all melted in now, so I don't think I really need to fry it much more. Let's see how these are doing. Ah, nice and tender. I didn't peel them. I'm a minimalist when it... yeah, that one's tough. That was a second-year root, but these are good. Yeah, I'm a minimalist when it comes to work. That juice went into my tea as well. And I'll just put a little more organic butter in and just fry up those cooked burdock roots. It's a fairly good amount of butter actually. This could probably use a lot more frying than, maybe a lot more frying than the greens. Coat them up. Always helps it be tasty. Maybe add a little bit of, I'm not sure, maybe a little bit of sea salt later. I stirred it up. Should be almost pretty much done because you don't want to burn your butter necessarily. So I'm just going to put this pan on a warming section of the oven. I'm ready to eat mine. And I'll just leave this sample for the boys when they want to try it when they have a chance, and just put a clear lid on so that they know it's there. I can eat that. Here's Foxy just waiting for a try.